It's Levac and Goss on 104.5 The Team.
Joining us now on a day with a landmark merger. I don't get nervous when a true professional joins us, I swear. Doug Kezirian, ESPN anchor, and Behind the Bets podcast. The NBA and MGM are getting together. Doug, what does this mean? What does this mean for sports as a whole?
Well, it's big. It's big for sports betting more than anything because it sort of just validates them when you have a partner like the NBA who's on board. It just says, like, see, not this, like, thing of backroom dealings and all this other nonsense. We have a major league that is blessing us, so to speak. So it's a sponsorship agreement on paper. What this really is the message it sends to everyone. It's like, hey, this is above board.
Doug Kezirian with us right now. Doug, does this mean for other outlets? Like, when you have this kind of agreement with a major entity like the NBA, does that mean, like, I don't know, Bovada and anyone else, can they no longer use the likenesses or the players' names and injury reports?
Oh, of course not. I mean, that's the whole thing. It started with the integrity fee. We've heard that for the last few months. And the NBA wanted that. They wanted a slice of the pie because there are estimates of maybe $400 billion bet illegally in the United States that they want to slice it. Well, they can't get that because the information is not proprietary. All you need is a box score and a television to grade some wagers. So they said, all right, well, let's create a sponsorship. And they got up there, and it was sort of a dog and pony show cash grab because they said, look, we're going to give them this direct data feed, but the MGM lines aren't going to be better or more accurate than any other odds in another place. The direct data feed is not that valuable. In fact, it's not even exclusive. So what Adam Silver went out there and did, and according to Darren Ravel and David Purdom, it's 3 years, about $25 million plus. It's a partnership. It's advertising. You can use our video. You can use our names and stuff like that. You get our blessing. And so the MGM app and other stuff at the MGM marquees, because they're going to be in a lot of states as expansion grows, it's going to just look more legitimate. But all it was is we are buying your validation because it's not exclusive. It's not like other sportsbooks now can't post NBA lines or anything silly like that. But what it does is saying Adam Silver knows there's a value to this validation. It says, pay us, come on board, we'll partner up, everybody wins, everybody makes money. We have value, meaning the NBA has value that the sports betting community wants. Pay us for it. We'll give you our blessing, maybe advertise on a few jerseys, things like that. So this opens the door for maybe other sports books in the United States, not the Bovadas, not the offshore, but the legal sports books in states, and also like William Hill, things like that. And then also it opens the door for maybe other leagues to get on board. Adam Silver's, we know from his op-ed piece in the New York Times a few years ago, is very proactive and very aggressive and very just progressive in this space. And maybe some other leagues are going to follow suit as well. So it's a win for gambling, but let's take it for what it is at face value.
Also, why has the NBA not included rights to allow MGM to stream live NBA games on like a mobile app through this?
Well, maybe they negotiated, and it was like, pay us $100 million or whatever it was, right? Maybe that was all they negotiated for, because they already have that relationship with maybe ESPN, ABC, TNT. Let's say the Cavaliers are playing the Warriors on a Saturday night ABC game. Well, ESPN has that exclusivity, right? They didn't have that to give them. What they did give them is what they do not have exclusivity with: video for your website or your app. So right now, we pay in our deals with every league, like the NFL, we pay them X amount of $1 million, right, or billion, whatever it is, or for the Monday Night Football games we broadcast, for the video we have on NFL Live, the fact that we even have a show with the NFL term in our show title. Remember, we know Pro Football Talk, that's different, right? We have NFL, and then we have NFL video on our website, NFL video and Sports Center, and all that deal gets negotiated, and we pay a lot for it. Well, the NBA is saying, well, clearly you have a reach with your MGM app. You have a reach with all these MGM sports books, so that'll be good for our brand, and you will pay us because we will validate you and give you some content on your app that will hopefully separate you from your competitors. So that was the deal that both sides negotiated, and we'll see what becomes of it. But that's sort of their motivation entering this deal.
ESPN Sports Center anchor and Behind the Bets podcast host Doug Kezirian with us right now on 104.5 The Team. Does this, in your mind, maybe speed along they'll legalize gambling in places like here in New York, where we're waiting for them to go ahead and give us, open betting throughout the area because of the legitimacy of the MGM and the NBA working together?
Bingo. I think that's a first step towards it, right? So I think states like New York, although the state legislature is on recess until January, which for reasons I can't understand, but I think that's big. I think every state is sort of keeping an eye on things, right? What states sort of said before the Supreme Court ruling, some have changed. Now, they weren't lying originally. They're allowed to change their mind. They see New Jersey. They see Delaware. They're going to see Rhode Island. They're going to see West Virginia. They're going to see Mississippi. And now New Jersey, also part of this press conference today, said that they're going to have their app live by the end of the week. So there's going to be app betting because that's already exists in Nevada. So everything's sort of snowballing. And I think just getting the NBA on board, it's like, all right, you're either with us or you're against us. Again, the biggest step forward in all this, there was like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. The biggest step forward was sports betting continues to remove a negative stigma.
Doug, why is the NBA the first league to do this? What made them the first one to be able to almost break that negative stigma?
Well, they are already a partner with the NBA Summer League. They already own a WNBA team, and they play those games at the Mandalay Bay, which is under the MGM umbrella. So they are hoping, this is another layer to this, is that in due time they want to bring an NBA team to Las Vegas, and the MGM wants to own it or at least have the arena that plays the games in it. So this is not the first time the MGM and the NBA have done partnership. And also the MGM's reach is really big. They're in every state that has legalized gambling. They're trying to grow nationally. This is not a one-off, Trump Taj Mahal on the Atlantic City boardwalk. This is a brand that is already nationally, and that is why the NBA was probably more interested in that brand than maybe like a one-off Bob's Casino in Biloxi or something like that. It's about both parties having, obviously, a healthy reputation, a good stigma, and being a brand, and I think it's a cooperation that's already been going on, and I think it's a vision to bring an NBA team to Las Vegas as well.
Doug Kezirian with us right now, and Doug, it's for me, I'm sitting here, and I've got a friend who wagers a lot here in New York, and I'm looking forward to being able to get rid of my friend and just do it myself. Do you think there's a chance this is in place by the time the NFL season rolls around?
In New York?
Yeah, even with the recess.
No, it would have to be a special session for them to do that, and I don't see it happening. But there is talk of the jersey. So right now there's like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like LoJack or whatever. you have like geo restrictions, right, on your phone. So I can look up point spreads and lines at sports books in other states. Now I can't bet because I'm not standing in that state. But there is talk that maybe the apps in Jersey will enable people to go to New Jersey, set up an account, and then be in the tri-state area to bet. You don't have to necessarily be in the New Jersey jurisdiction. Now, I don't think that's going to materialize, but I doubt that you will be able to legally bet in a New York sports book, sanctioned, of course, by football season.
I can just imagine Levac in his car driving south to see how close the geo section hits before Albany, New York.
My friend, guys, not me.
Right. Well, your friend would be driving you, of course. Right. Doug, for those that may have not had a chance here in the Capital Region to listen to your Behind the Bets podcast, how can they listen to it?
We'll download it on iTunes or go straight to the ESPN.com website and check it out. Obviously, we're going to be ratcheting it up with football season coming up. We're going to have a lot of season previews and obviously weekly podcasts as well. But we have a ton of content. Obviously, our coverage is increasing on SportsCenter. I just did a SportsCenter hit. I'm doing a radio hit as well later. And I'm definitely going to be much more of have a presence in our sports betting coverage moving forward.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like you're the SportsCenter anchor. You were nice enough to join us on Radio Row this year, and you had a fact sheet with every kind of possible odd there could be for us. And how do you balance things now? Are they gonna take you off SportsCenter maybe and just make you the betting guy?
Right, that's the plan, is to shift full time into sports betting. Now, obviously, I can still do SportsCenter and other things like that. Multitasking, like I'm sure you guys do, and many of our listeners right now. But I want to be writing more for the website and making it a full-time gig. For those who don't know, I worked in Las Vegas for 7 years prior to ESPN. I covered the industry at great length, and I've continued to cover it. So I'm looking at about 15 years, all things considered, been following odds my whole life. So it is intuitive, it's natural, and obviously I have a lot of good sources and resources as well. So blessed to be able to continue that at ESPN. And, with the legalization, it's become much more of a news value to our audience. And, gratefully, my employer recognizes that.
Love it, man. Doug Kezirian, of course. Catch him on SportsCenter, catch him on ESPN, and the Behind the Bets podcast. And my friend thanks you for that info packet at the Super Bowl this year.
You got it, fellas. And how about this? I'll give you a little teaser. I think we're going to have a piece coming out soon on why NFL preseason betting is easier to beat than the NFL regular season, and professional bettors prefer it. And because a lot of information out there. So that'll be fun to read, hopefully.
Oh, that's a juicy tease,
Yeah.
Doug. That's juicy.
Because I've always avoided it because you never quite know who's going to play and when. So I'll be interested in that one.
Because you don't know who's going to play or not, but the information is out there. And actually, there's a reason there's lower limits in the preseason than there are in the regular season, because the regular season is harder. So that's where they allow larger limits.
See, this is why you're the guy we call. You know your stuff, man. Look, go get Behind the Bets podcast and set it up right there on the ESPN app. You can get a notification every time he puts a new one up. Doug Kezirian, man, we appreciate your time.
You got it, fellas. Thanks for having me on.